present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Good evening to everyone. It's always great to see such a big crowd out here to be recognized, so let us get started with the meeting. We're going to start with an invocation from Colin Moffitt from Foundation Baptist Church.
Prayer. Almighty God, I thank you for this wonderful day that you have made, and for the blessings of life that we enjoy, and for sustaining us in that life through your appointed means. You indeed are kind to us, Lord. I thank you also for all those gathered here, and for the board members and superintendent that you have brought here in service to the students of this district and their families. Lord, I would ask that you would be gracious to them in this hour. Please grant to them divine wisdom, clarity of thought, and strength of heart. Grant also to each of us spiritual renewal in accordance with our need. I ask that this meeting would be joyful and productive, and that we might redeem the time that you have given to us. Grant correction where it is needed, Lord, and grant affirmation also according to your divine will. I ask all this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Moffitt. Next, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance, which this evening will be led by Valerie Brady and Robert Chavez from Hurst-Euless Elementary. And we have the U.S. flag right here and the Texas flag on the other side. All right, stay right here. We got a couple certificates for you.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about these two while they're getting their certificates. Valerie Brady comes to school each day with a smile on her face, ready to learn. She models integrity with her words and actions in all of her classes. Her willingness to help a classmate or a teacher is unmatched, and it's always done with grace and kindness. Valerie received the Principal's Award for her consistent positive attitude last year, as well as received recognition for being an A/B honor roll for the year. She continues this accomplishment this year as well. And yes. And we have Robert Chavez, has excellent work ethic and is a responsible student. We can always count on Robert to be a positive example of the standards that we have at Hurst-Euless Elementary. Robert has outstanding character and is a role model for others. He received a Principal's Award last year and was on the A/B honor roll for the year. He was also on the A/B honor roll for the first 6 weeks this year.
Thank you, Valerie and Robert. Tonight, the Board of Trustees is meeting in its regularly scheduled monthly meeting to officially act on items included on the posted agenda. The Board welcomes and appreciates comments and input from the community. Open forum is provided at each meeting to allow the public to address the Board. There will be 2 open forums tonight. Open forum number 1 is to hear requests regarding agenda items only. Open forum number 2 is to hear requests or make comments regarding non-agenda items and will be heard at the end of the meeting. Those addressing the board are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes per meeting. The speaker should identify his or her name, group affiliation, if any, and make a brief presentation with an identified solution if one is sought. Remarks should be addressed to the board as a whole. Oral presentations may not include charges against any employee or board member by name. It is my responsibility to determine if a person addressing the board has attempted to resolve a concern informally or through the district's complaint policies. If not, the speaker will be directed to follow the appropriate policy. The board requests that all presentations be made in a courteous, respectful, and professional manner and asks that speakers monitor their own behavior. If you wish to speak during one of the open forums, please fill out one of the cards located on the table in the entry hall. We're going to go ahead and do our board activity chart. Ms. Don Jordan Wells.
Good evening. I attended our annual facilities meeting on October 30th. I attended the historic LD Bell versus Trinity High School football game on November the 2nd. And I attended the election coverage event and celebration on November the 7th.
Ms. Cole.
Okay, so in addition to the Trinity Bell football game, there was also a Trinity Bell volleyball game. That was a great evening. And of course, along with that election, I just want to take this opportunity to thank this community for its support of HBISD. We look forward to working very hard to fulfill all of those promises that were made during that election. I also attended the TASB as part of my service on the TASB board. I now, this year, am part of the legislative committee for the TASB board. And so I had a meeting last week at the beginning of the yet another special session on education. And so there's a lot of work to be done on that committee going forward. I also attended the Trinity Craft Fair. If anyone in the room has never been to that, you do not know what you're missing. You need to get there next year, the first Saturday in November. I attended the Chamber of Commerce, the State of the Cities luncheon last week. And the first ever, and hopefully the first annual, Veterans Day breakfast was held last Friday morning here at the Pat May for all the veterans in the community and all of our employees that are veterans. And it was such a great event. It was a great opportunity to thank them for their service, to hear some of their stories, and to celebrate the work that they have done for this country.
Okay, not to repeat everything, but since I've been to a lot of things over many, many years, the most unusual thing I've been to lately was wrestling under the stars at Trinity, where they put a wrestling mat between the pitcher's mound and home plate, and they wrestled outside where the parents could sit in the stands and watch, and they competed against parents. They did very well, and it was well attended. They wanted to do it last year, it was too cold, so this is the first year to do it. Very unusual, but a great night for parents and kids.
All right, thank you, board. Any comments, Dr. Arrington?
Yeah, just a couple. You heard this huge list, and we can't even get through everything. We also had the LD Bell Little Shop of Horrors show that went on, and that was we had two musicals. This is the first time I can remember. Trinity did The Addams Family, and then LD Bell with Little Shop of Horrors, and so I was really excited to see both schools doing musicals again. But our kids are so busy, and there's so many activities. It is just awesome. So again, I just want to. We already said it, but again, I want to thank the community for the bond, and we had meetings today on that, so we are moving.
All right, I'd like to say a quick thank you to our greeters this evening. You may have noticed 3 students in green blazers as you enter tonight. These students are part of the HEB-ISD Student Ambassador Program, which is a select group of students chosen through an application and interview process to be the face of the district. They are trained to assist with public relations and communication services and are given the opportunity to positively promote HEB-ISD while developing leadership skills. Tonight we have Natalie Gall, a Trinity senior, Ashton Richardson, an LDB senior, and Susewa Afukaniwa, a Trinity Junior. This past year, we've been using the opportunity to hear the voice of our district students by asking the ambassadors a question. This month, we are asking them, the green jacket has been the ultimate symbol of golf success that they started being awarded to the winners of the Masters Golf Tournament in 1949. However, members of the Augusta Golf Club started wearing the green jackets in 1937 so that much like the green blazers you wear tonight, they could be easily identifiable to guests at the tournament as a reliable source of information. Please share with the board what it takes to master the role of HEB ISD Student Ambassador.
Hi, good evening. My name is Natalie Gall, like they already said. I'm a new student ambassador this year, so this is definitely a very new experience for me socially. I'm a pretty outgoing person, but it takes a lot of gut to go up to these adults who are pretty revered in my community and, you know, go up to them and say, and even just say, hello, how's your day? And, you know, ask them if they need help. You know, no, I don't need help. I'm amazing, you know? But just doing that has, you know, really helped me socially. And I guess wearing my jacket has helped me in a way to thank the people who have helped foster my education, you know, and because I respect HEB ISD so much. So, yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Ashton Richardson and I'm a senior at LD Bell, like they mentioned. For me, mastering wearing the green jacket has been definitely a matter of self-confidence and trusting myself and trusting my strengths. When I came into the ambassador program, I was really, really intimidated, and I was surrounded by a lot of people who are very, very high achievers who I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna be able to compare to them. And the issue of self-confidence has really, really helped me, especially with learning my strengths and how they are able to be an asset to the program. And mastering the green jacket is really an issue of being able to go up to someone and saying, I earned this jacket, I am here representing my school district for a reason. And I feel like that really makes a difference, even if you're greeting someone at a door or speaking in front of a whole bunch of people. It really makes a difference on how you carry yourself and how you carry wearing this jacket. And I feel like even if I haven't obviously mastered it totally yet, it's definitely something that I have set as my personal goal to work towards as a student ambassador.
Good evening, my name is Sosiwa Afunia, and I'm a junior at Trinity High School. So when I heard the question of what it means to master the role of HEB ISD Student Ambassador, I thought back to convocation this year, and I thought of the theme of the district this year, which is Imagine. Obviously, this role does take a lot. It takes a lot of responsibility, and it's just a role that a lot of people would love to have. So when I think about what it means to master it, I think that it's just imagination. Last year, I've imagined a lot of things, and I've gone after it. I've imagined what it would mean to be student class council president, and I eventually actually did it. And over the summer, I imagined what it would be like to travel across the US, and I went out and did it. Being a student ambassador, it just takes a lot of imagination to just go out and do what you want, and not just sit back and let life just wash over you. Overall, I really enjoy being a student ambassador, and I'm so glad that I've been able to do this experience, and I'm so excited for next year.
Thank you, student ambassadors. Thank you for those answers. And now we will start with our National Merit Commended and College Board Recognition programs. Ms. Harris.
Okay, as Mrs. Harris makes her way this way and as the principals make their way to the photography area, I want to go through just a few housekeeping things just so that you parents know what's coming up. First of all, we are so excited for these kids, and I know you're proud, and we are proud for them. And as the board said just a minute ago, this is one of our favorite times because there are so many kids that we do get to recognize. So first, what's going to happen is we're going to call out the awards that they get. They're going to receive their certificate here, and as a group, we're going to send them over, and they're going to have their photo taken with our board president, Matt Romero, and their respective principals, Randy Belcher and Michael Martinak. Once the group is done, then you guys can come back to your seat from the photo, and then we'll just keep doing those. So right now, I'd like to introduce Cheryl Harris, and she is going to call out the names.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here tonight. And students, congratulations. It's great to see so many of you were able to come. I'll start with a little bit of an explanation about the awards that are being given out tonight. So the first group of students we'll recognize are the National Merit Commended students. I'll give you a little background. Over 1.3 million juniors and about 21,000 high schools entered the 2024 National Merit Scholarship Program by taking the 2022 preliminary SAT, the PSAT and MSQT. And that served as the initial screener for this program. About 34,000 of those high scorers are designated as commended students. So please join me in recognizing the following commended students. We'll start with LD Bell. So when I call your name, you can come on up. Shafin Chaudhry. Jonah Du. Chloe Harmon. Stephen Hatcher. Dominic Manzano. Michael Nelson. Peter Pretty. Marley Rich. And Lucas Wallace. Now we'll recognize the National Merit Commended students from Trinity High School. Should I wait? Okay. First we have Samuel Buison. Samantha Horak. Jude Langsdorf. Logan Patterson. Ryan Satyal. And Shayna Sylvester. Can we get a second round of applause for our National Merit Commended students? The next group that we'll recognize will be LD Bell students who have earned an award from the from the College Board Recognition Programs. So I'll tell you a little bit about that program as well. The College Board offers academic honors for Black, Indigenous, and/or Latino students, providing an opportunity for students to share their strong academic achievements with colleges and scholarship programs that are seeking to recruit diverse talent. So the following LD Bell seniors have earned the National African American Recognition Award. Ibrahim Babiker. Cadis Denton. Stephen Hatcher. Deborah Kalu. Weya Kawa. Dimercia Locosha. John Marlowe. Saja Mustafa. Joshua Ojegba. Maddox Olatunde. Giselle Ransom Kidd. Abana Rostam. Nakia Sessoms. Oluwatomisin, no, I'm going to get this. Oluwatomisin Taiwo. JC Williams. And Zacharias Zudi. Wonderful. Next, we'll recognize, also from LD Bell, our National Hispanic Recognition awardees. Aiden Aguirre. Josh Bonilla. Robert Castillo. Kellen Chase. Alexia Del Vecchio. Jonah Dew. Julie Iserman. Isabella Esquivel. Joshua Gaiman. Rocco Gonzalez. Kiara Gregory Zapata. Rachel Gutierrez. Emma Heros. Jacob Jimenez. Elizabeth Labrada. Marco Patino. Rosa Pena. Diego Rios. Ariane Santamaria. And Leo Serrato. Next, we have our National Indigenous Awardees from LD Bell. Loau Haisila. And Zoe Whitfield. Our next awardees will be from Trinity High School. We'll begin with our National African American Recognition awardees, beginning with Rede Asfal, Gabrielle Berry, Sarah Boacha Nkasa, Orlasi Dimapur, Michaela Edwards, Akram Kirawi, Mason Montgomery, Tristan O'Connor, Mustafa Osman, Michael Pulley Roberts, and Brettley Wade. Next, we will have our Trinity High School National Hispanic Recognition awardees. We'll begin with Ricardo Aguirre. Maria Arango. Isaiah Ariano. Ian Baez Matos. Jacqueline Castillo. Hannah Flanagan. Annalise Giron. Abel Narvez. I will go ahead and say Abel also is recognized for the National Indigenous Award. So, Mario Perez. Justin Resendez. Valerie Reyes. Flor Vanegas. Canyon Vetia. And Cassidy Zastro. Congratulations, everyone.
All right, and the board would like to congratulate each and every one of you. It's a huge accomplishment. I'm sure your mailboxes are already blowing up with mail from universities all over the country, and I'd encourage the parents to look for every opportunity because these awards could be turned into a lot of money when it comes to furthering your education. So congratulations. So at this time, the board will adjourn the meeting to relocate to the administration building boardroom and then reconvene. So at this time, the board is going to reconvene into open session. Item 6.01, certificates of appreciation. So this evening, we are going to be handing out certificates of appreciation to those folks in the community who have donated to our schools and our different programs. And we are going to start with board member Dawn Jordan Wells. She has a certificate to Bell Textron, from Bell Textron to Bel Air Elementary School in the amount of $6,400. The donation will be used to purchase classroom supplies, materials for Suzuki Strings, and the music department at Bel Air Elementary School. Ms. Martin is here to accept the certificate.
Wait a minute.
Oh, the photographers. That's
Oops.
hilarious. He's changing the tire.
The next certificate is to Allstate Foundation for a gift to Hurst-Euless Elementary School. The donation is $500 and will be used to purchase items for the students and staff at Hurst-Euless Elementary School. Ms. Donahue and Emily Milligan will be here to accept the certificate. The next certificate will be presented by Board Member Andy Cargile. This certificate is to Begin and Michael Standish for a gift to Oakwood Terrace Elementary School in the amount of $5,000. The donation will be used to purchase items for the students as well as items to support staff well-being at Oakwood Terrace Elementary School. The next certificate is to Uncommon Church, to Uncommon Church for a gift to Oakwood Terrace Elementary School in the amount of $1,000. The donation will be used to staff celebrations and well-being support at Oakwood Terrace Elementary. Ms. Dyer and Pastor Josh Martinez will accept the certificate. The next certificate is for an anonymous donation to the Buinger CTE Academy, in the amount of $8,000. The donation will be used to help purchase items needed for students and help pay for students' fees that are required for CTE courses. Yeah, there's no certificate, no. The next certificate will be presented by Board Member Julie Cole. The certificate is to Six Stones for a gift to Keys High School in the amount of $500. The donation will be used to offset the cost of student incentives and rewards that are given out for attendance and classroom performance at Keys High School. Mr. Atkins will be here to accept the certificate. The next certificate is to Nothing But Cakes, Hurst, for a gift to PR and marketing in the amount of $13,125. The donation of 2,500 Nothing But Cakes, free Buntlet coupons that were used for staff motivation and staff recognition incentives to increase career well-being. And the next certificate is to Walmart Neighborhood Market 3392 to PR and marketing for a gift of $816.02. The donation of school supplies that will be used as needed for students in HEB ISD. So the total certificates this month has a grand total of $35,341.02. We are ready for open forum number 1. Okay. We do not need a closed session this evening. So we are to consent items. Does any board member have any item they'd like to remove from the consent agenda? I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the consent agenda as presented. Please vote. And that motion passes. All right, reports and presentations. 11.01, were there any questions on disbursements for the month of October 2023? All right, report on employment, resignations, and retirements. Any questions? No. All right. 11.03, the 2024-2025 school calendar options. Ms. Hollander, Ms. Norgard, Dr. Norgard.
So first of all, I want to officially thank Holly Norgard again, Dr. Norgard, for helping us with the calendar. She is the person that I would do it and then take it to, and we kind of cut that out and just let her do some of the really heavy lifting. What I wanted to do is share the process with everybody so that you know kind of what we follow. So we are constantly gathering calendar information from other districts, even last year's, just to see how they have done things. We create a mock calendar with secondary and elementary, and Dr. Norgard takes that to the EdOps team, and they work with some of the things that we've seen in the past and things that we've heard from other committees. In November, we met with the DLIC, which served as our calendar committee because it has all of the members needed to get that input from. We then paused and gathered information from colleges, some of the junior colleges and the other districts around, to find out what their spring break is. And you will see that maybe if you've seen the calendar previous, we had the week before as an option, but we realized that spring break lands on the 17th through the 21st. We will gather stakeholder input. We felt like it was best to do that after this Thanksgiving break. So we will gather that from November 27th to the 1st, and then we will present to the board after we're presenting the options today. We will present to you with those with the data that we gather on the December 11th meeting. So, Dr. Norgard.
So I'd like to just briefly highlight our calendar, and really there is only one difference between the two. And honestly, this was one of the easier ones we've done because there simply weren't a lot of choices where certain holidays fell, et cetera. But actually, the best way to look at the school calendar is to begin with the end in mind, because we know that graduation is set. And it's set several years in advance, so that puts everything, when you look at LD Bell and Trinity graduation on May 25th and Keys on the 23rd, that means we're done with school May 22nd. So when we back everything up from there, there is one Staff Development Day, April 21st. That is the day after Easter. You know, Easter moves around, so this year it was much earlier, but that will be extend the Easter break for our students when our staff comes back for staff development. Spring break, Ms. Hollander mentioned, we've aligned that to universities. In February, this is the end of the trimester, actually falls quite nicely going into both there's Valentine's Day on Friday and President's Day on Monday. So the purple member is a half day for high schools and the trimester exams, and then a half day for all on February 14th and a student holiday for President's Day. We have Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a holiday for all staff and students on January 20th. And coming back from the winter break, staff would return on January 6th, our teachers, and then students on the 7th. So the spring semester, you can see there's at least one break every month, and guided by graduation. So that brings us back. There are 2 full weeks for winter break. Sometimes it's a half week, full week, half week. This was two full weeks that our students have off. We would dismiss early on Friday, December 20th for all to begin the break. It includes a full week of Thanksgiving. Here is where the single difference is in the two calendars. This one, based on our stakeholder feedback from the last few years, has the day after Halloween, November 1st, as a professional development day. We have elementary conferences, et cetera. That does actually, the way this calendar falls, come once again right at the end of that first trimester. So that's a great PD day, especially for our high schools that are wrapping up and finishing, but all of our levels are finishing as 6 weeks there. We have Columbus Day, Indigenous People Day here in October, Labor Day. That backs us up to the first day of school is a Monday on these calendars. I know in the past we have tried to avoid that to get our 176 instructional days that we have had, and this is actually a very balanced semesters, trimesters, everything's nice and balanced here. If we start later, if we move to the Wednesday the 14th, then those other 2 days have to come somewhere. Most likely it would have been not having a full week at Thanksgiving. If we go any earlier, if we go to a Wednesday start, but the Wednesday before, we are very early. This year we started on the 10th. That would be on Wednesday the 7th, which puts our teachers reporting back in July. So we have built both of these options, do have Monday starts with teachers returning on August 1st. So the difference that I mentioned, option one, here is the professional development day on October 1st. The other thing, because this will be 2024, it will be a presidential election year, unlike the election we just had, and we have had concerns and some stakeholder feedback on some years about we are not in control of which of our buildings may be used by Tarrant County for voting, and some people prefer to have a day with no students in the building on an election day. Some districts around us have done that. So that is the other option, that instead of having this Friday the 1st, in option 2, that PD day is Tuesday the 5th for election day, which means that first trimester actually goes all the way through November 1st. Half day for high schools on the 31st and a half day for everyone on November 1st. So those are really the only two differences in the calendar. Any questions?
No, I like to express my concern about starting on Monday, and I will repeat what I did 3 years ago. The year before last, we started on Wednesday, and this year I think we started on Thursday. I still believe that when you start on a Monday, Friday's a shut up and color day. There's very little instruction going on, especially when you put those new teachers a week before, and then you add another week with the school. And then those kids coming out of summer, Darla may understand this, by Friday, or Thursday or Friday, they're gone because they're not used to going to school. So I know, I've been on the calendar committee. I know the problems with graduation, working backwards. It's a shame that we have to start on a Monday and put those kids through that whole week. That's all.
We'll make sure we have very engaging activities.
Yes, have plenty of crayons.
Yeah, I hear that, Andy, but I don't think it makes sense to ask our teachers to come back in July.
And we,
we do try hard, and that's something, as when I was a teacher, that Wednesday, that was great. But every day, every year, it moves, and it's every now and then it really hamstrings us. And so that's something we always look at and we'll continue to look at, but this calendar really, we couldn't find a way to make that work. But it is something we always look at.
we'll probably be looking at 25, 26 next month, so, we'll get started. But yes, between leap days and other things, that shifted all of us this year as well, so. Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. All right, next we'll have our K-5 summer school effectiveness. Dr. Allen?
Good evening. Just prior to Dr. Allen giving you your report, I just wanted to remind you tonight that she's coming up just to share with you the effectiveness and the data that we had. Based on that data, and once she presents that to you, we're going to come back as a team in EdOps and look at what's our next step. So I just want to let you know we're not at that phase yet, but we will be there, and we'll come back and report out to you. But we wanted you to hear all the data from tonight. Thank you. Dr. Allen.
Hi, good evening. How's everybody? Good, good. So like Conrad said, I'm just here to share the effectiveness results from this summer. So this presentation includes data to quality indicators 1.1A, 1.2B, and 1.3B in the strategic plan. So, oh, thank you. So as you all know, previous analyses of our summer school program have indicated the program is not meeting the needs of all of our students. About this time last year, I came and did our first presentation with just our K through 2 summer school effectiveness study. The next several slides are just a reminder of what I showed you last year, so I'll move through this fairly quickly, and then I'll slow down when we get to this year. But as a reminder, last fall we found that the results from our summer 2022 summer school, there were no statistically significant differences in the reading between groups of students who were invited to summer school and did attend versus the groups who were invited to summer school and did not attend. So all very similar in their prior achievement, right, with the control and the experiment, if you will, being that they actually came to summer school. And that was the case for kinder through 5 in reading. I showed you all of these scatter plots last year where the blue dots are representing those students who did not attend summer school, and the orange dots are representing those students who did attend summer school. And as you remember, there was just a lot of overlap. There was no clear distinguishable differences. So I'll quickly go through. It was Dibbles in K through 2, 3rd through 5th grade. We looked at their MAP scores. And I probably should also clarify, so they were kinder through 5th grade in summer school, so they came back to us as 1st through 6th graders. Similar in math, we found in 1st through 5th grade, so when they came back to us as 2nd through 6th grade, there were no statistically significant differences between those groups either. The kindergartners who came back to us as 1st graders, they did improve as a result of summer school. So here is kinder, 1st, and 2nd, all on the same page for K2. The M-Class Math only has 1 subtest. The Dibbles had 2, so that's why those kind of got spread out a little further. And then again, in 3rd through 5th grade for math, it was their MAP RIT score. All right, and so the current study, it was just the exact same as what we did last year. So students were split into groups based on if they attended summer school or not attended summer school out of a pool of only students who were eligible to begin with. This year, we found very similar results for all of our kinder through 5th graders who came back as 1st through 6th graders in reading. There were no statistically significant differences between the groups. So again, here we have the students represented by the blue dots are the students who did not attend summer school. Students who are represented by the orange dots are the students who did attend summer school. And as you can see, there's just a lot of overlap. We can see a little bit, if you look at those lines, we would want, hopefully, for the orange line to be showing above, right, or a higher increase. And we unfortunately don't see that again. Here again for 1st grade, there's a few great outliers of students who really improved as they came back at the beginning of the year, and that's great to see. But even as you see on the closed letter sounds, that's the scatter plot on the left, we had almost equal outliers for one student who came, one student who didn't, so they just grew a lot over the summer, and that's what we found last year, was that this typically isn't that they are struggling to learn, it's that they just are not developmentally ready yet. Similarly for 2nd grade, this was our smallest group, so you can see here there's a lot fewer students on these graphs, and it's because that was just the smallest group that we had at summer school this year. Again, 3rd through 5th grade, I put all together because there was only one score for each. We didn't have the double as we did on the Dibbles in K through 2. And here again, we see these are our current 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and there's just no real distinguishable differences between the kids who came to summer school versus the kids who didn't come. And then while last year there was one statistically significant group in math, which was kindergarten, this year there were no statistically significant differences across the grade levels. So here's kinder 1st and 2nd. This was their M-Class Math. It does look in the bottom like those who did not attend summer school did better, but I will say if we're looking at the slope of the line, so it's actually in that group, the students who chose not to come just happened to have higher achievement to begin with. So within that group of students who came. So I did want to make that clear because it looks like they just really kind of came back and blew it out of the water, but they were higher to begin with as well if we look at that slope. And then here are again our current 4th, 5th, and 6th graders and how they performed on their end of year map compared to when they came back their beginning of year map. And so then we're looking at how much money we put into summer school. So this was how much we spent on only our elementary summer school, and more specifically only on we called it summer enrichment this year. So this does not include our ELPs, and this also does not include the language acquisition program that we did, or language academy, I'm sorry, that we did. So there's these numbers. As we talked about last year, a lot of current research suggests that there are other intervention systems during the school day that have a more positive impact on student achievement. I have a few of those listed here. We talked about those last year also. And just to also put it in perspective, this is Marie Becker purchased all of this with title money last year. So this went to only those 18 campuses that received title funds. So this, or let me think how to say it. Just to put it into perspective, this is supplies for 18 campuses and the money that this costs compared to how much money we spent on summer school. So just wanted to throw that out there for a little perspective of other things that the money could be used for. And that's all I have.
All right, are there any questions? Okay. So is there, do you continue to monitor these students through the school year, or is it just kind of a one-time check-in?
We have not been doing that, but that is certainly something that I could do.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a lot of the programs that we're going to try this summer had to do with kind of building self-esteem and you know, teaching kids to learn a little bit better, and that might show itself over time, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that'd be very interesting.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, Dr. Johnson, Student Discipline Report.
Good evening. So tonight's discipline report is really an exercise in how to break down the discipline report that you'll be receiving on Friday update. So wanted to let you know that this is going to be coming to you at the beginning, the first Friday of every month. And so now that you've gotten your first one at the beginning of November, as we go through the coming months, you'll have a little bit better idea on how it breaks down. This is something that I reminded you of last year. So when we look at incidents, just understand that one incident may involve more than one student, and one student may account for multiple incidents. And so when we're looking at this, the key is to understand, is this a one-off with one student, or is this an incident with several students? And I'll kind of get into that in just a little bit. Now, please understand that this is about the report, and so I'm going to kind of go through and hit a couple of highlights, and so feel free to ask any questions as you go through. I've obfuscated some of the campus data. What you have is at your table is the campus data, and that's what you'll get in the Friday report. So there's 2 pages of the report, and the first page is the discipline overview. When we break the discipline overview down, you see the top box is discipline. You have a student count, and then you have the discipline count. The student count is the number of students out of all discipline referrals, and then on the right side, you have your discipline count, which is the total number of discipline referrals. Now, one of the things that I'd like to just call your attention to, which I think teachers will be really excited to hear, we call the month of October Shocktober for a reason. And that's because we see our largest number of incidents in October. And so now that we're through October and September, things are a little bit downhill. I won't dare say that we're completely done, but things get a little bit better year over year here on out once we get past October. So when we look at how we're trending, we see that we've had higher numbers over the last 2 years. Right now, we're tracking consistent with 2022 and 2023. And another thing that I'd just like to bring to your attention is that it's really tough to say this, but we see it in society right now. We see a lot of dysregulation, people having trouble controlling their emotions. So being isolated for so long and coming back, one of the most important things that school offers is structure. And so as we've tried to reorient and renorm that structure, you see from 2018 to 2022, we start to make a little bit of an increase. And I would project that not just us, but other districts are going to start seeing the same thing. And then we will see things taper off back to what would be considered normal numbers. So next, on the discipline overview, we have the student count to the left, and then on the right, we have types of behavior. And so on the right side of your list, it goes down, and this is really meant to be viewed in PDF. I know it's small letters and numbers, but on the right side, just in case you're wondering where the majority of these incidents come from, that's what's on the right side of the sheet. And then to the left, you see discipline referral by location. And so these are the different locations: on campus, on a bus, off campus at a school-sponsored event, off campus within 300 feet of campus, and then crossroads. And so sometimes we have students that aren't successful in crossroads, and so there's a discipline code that's put in for that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the tiers in the next slide. So the discipline tiers, this is actually data that started with our work for CCMR and Frontline. And one of the dashboards that we have is the ability to be able to identify how many kids are having multiple referrals or not. And so our goal is to intervene early so that the kid doesn't get to tier 3. But tier 1 is a student with one disciplinary incident, and they learned their lesson, they moved on, they stay at tier 1. We want that. And sometimes the best thing that can happen is that they experience a disciplinary incident so that stops it. They get the wake-up call. And sometimes it's minor. And then this tier 2 is students with 2 to 5. This is where we really want to spend our time focusing on intervening with those kids because we don't want them to get to tier 3. And then tier 3 is students with 6 or more disciplinary incidents. And as you see, we have 280 students that already have 6 or more incidents. And so as the campus is well aware of who those students are and trying to implement behavior plans and intervene for those students. So early intervention is the key there. Moving along in the discipline overview, on the left, you see a bar graph version of the same numbers that you had on the previous slide. And then you see the average referrals by day of the week. There's a reason why Wednesday is called hump day, and I think you can see that. With 105 is our average there, and then it tapers down towards the end of the week. And then it climbs on Friday because people are happy to go into the weekend, right? Disciplinary incidents by week below. Right now, I can tell you we're not reading a whole lot into that. We're just watching it to understand. But it's a nice graphic that one of these days might provide more information for us to dive deeper into. So that was just the discipline overview on page 1. Page 2 is the behavior summary. And as we look at the behavior summary, these are some of the things that you might get questions about when it comes to what's going on at large. And so at the top left, you see the number of district disciplinary incidents. And now, please understand also, the way that these dashboards are kept, it is live data. So what you got in November Friday update, and then what I made these slides with, and then what you have are all different. And so this is as of this afternoon, the most current data. So this was when I made the slide. So when you look at the behavior summary, you have incidents by grade on the left, and then you have incidents by race on the right, and then incidents by school, which is obfuscated at the bottom. And so we look for major trends based on student population. I will tell you that one of the areas that we have looked at and we've talked about and we continue to monitor is the incident by race, looking at the number of students as proportionate to our district student enrollment by race and making sure that those things match up. And I will tell you that for our African-American students, it does not match. And that's something that we continue to work on. So next on the behavior summary, you'll see is suspension rate by school. And what this is the number of students who have been suspended divided by the total number of students enrolled on the campus. And that gives us our suspension rate. Also, one thing of note when it comes to suspension rate is if we have self-contained behavior programs, sometimes we have campuses that those numbers are a little skewed based off of those programs. Next on the behavior summary is the nonviolent behavior. And so the number of incidents by category, and so we see that the highest number is the disruptive disorderly, followed by, we have a lot of kids that are tardy, and we're trying to curb their behavior, and class cut.
So, Dr. Johnson,
you and I had a brief conversation about these codes. Who establishes these codes, and is there a way to make these more clear?
So every year, we, during the summer, right before we get ready to start the school year, our DAP team, Ms. Stanton and Ms. Tutt, we go through and we talk with principals and APs, and we work through the codes, and then we push those out. So the codes that we have this year are different than the codes that we have last year because we continue to build a better mousetrap. So for instance, one of the conversations that we've had is disruptive disorderly. That could, on one hand, that could mean little Brandon talks too much, and he's disrupting class. On another hand, little Brandon could flip over a desk, and that's very different. And so one of the codes that we're looking at putting in, and we're going to have to do it mid-year just so that we can pull out the true data, is aggressive behavior.
Yeah.
And so if you exhibit aggressive behavior, that's going to be its own code.
Yeah, yeah.
Which takes me to the next piece, is a very important piece to monitor, which is threat, safety, behavior. And so I've got 4 areas that I highlighted for you, which is fighting is an area that we see more of. And in the same vein of fighting, we're seeing an uptick of assaults. We've talked to JJAP, we've talked to Tarrant County Juvenile. They're seeing the same thing. They have a lot of their kids are there for assault. And that just goes with the inability to regulate emotions, and that's coming out in an aggressive way. So we have threats, we have fighting, we have threats to the safety of others, and we have assaults are the 4 major things.
Just for my clarification, Dr. Johnson, the fighting is between 2 people, and the assault is just one person being affected by?
Yes, so fighting actually could be more than just 2 people. There could be, in some cases, we have multiple students involved in the fight, 3 or 4 sometimes. But an assault would be an assault is a one-sided incident, and so if I were to make contact with you, then that would be assault by contact.
Are they coded, both coded, like in the case somebody's fighting and also get assaulted while they're fighting? Is that?
No. So a fight would be mutual combat, meaning you engaged in the same activity, and so this is not a self-defense issue because we are having an altercation and we're pushing and we're shoving and we're both punching. So we consider a fight mutual combat, whereas an assault is one-sided. So you could be a student who, I'm being the aggressor, and you're trying to remove yourself from the situation, and I back you into a corner, and I punch you, and that's an assault. And so, but the key is, it's unfortunate, but the aggressive behavior is up over the last 2 years, and that's something that we've really got to address.
Okay, I see e-cigarette and vape on here.
Yes. We can, those are codes that we're working on. Clean up. So we're trying to move those vape e-cigarettes over to e-cigarettes, so that but when we're looking at both, we combine them. They're the same thing.
Is this only secondary school, or is this all ages?
I'm sorry. This report is for. More than happy to talk to you afterwards.
Sorry, so I don't know a lot about vaping, but is it marijuana or THC also vaping or no?
Yes, so that's a different code.
I know, but is it still vaping?
I think if it's got THC.
If it has THC, it goes into a different category.
Brandon, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I have an elementary teacher tell me at her school, and I won't mention the school, won't mention the teacher, that a student assaulted 2 teachers and a teacher aide. One has already quit, she said. You have 4 on here, teacher assault. I don't know if 3 of those are this incident. But They called the police. Now, they said he was arrested, but I don't think you can arrest this age of kid, and he was taken to Kimball. He was taken off campus by the police officer. It seems to me as a board member, we should be notified. I mean, that's almost on the top of the list of all these things. Assault, police involved, taken off campus by police. It seems like we should be notified somewhere in this report if that happens at any school. Is there a category for that, or is it just not put in our report? Yes, that's 4, but this kid was actually arrested and taken off campus. Now, the teacher said, and staff say he was arrested. I doubt if they arrested, and I'm not going to tell you how old he was. He was very young. So I don't think it was arrest. They took him to Kimball. And I think he was so bad at Kimball, they released him. He was so bad. The other question, I hope we're getting the kid help. You know, I don't know the name of the kid, but I hope they're addressing his problems. But, you know, that's pretty serious when the police are involved. More than vaping. So it seems to me it should be somewhere in this report. If any incident like that happens on our campus, I think we should be notified, or it should be included.
So that's definitely something that I can get with Dr. Harrington and make sure that he has the information he needs to pass that along. I will tell you, though, that the most important thing I think, you know, you as a board and our community needs to hear, and as well as our teachers, is that when there is a serious incident like an assault of a teacher, we are dealing with that quickly and swiftly. And so, and we want to preserve the integrity of the classroom and the safety of our staff.
No doubt.
So I just...
Yeah. I also think that a lot of this behavior that we're seeing, you mentioned, you know, coming out of COVID, but I also think that I'm a believer that children behave what they see. And so, I mean, we can't control what happens in homes outside of our own, and, you know, in the greater environment that we live in, but some of this is a byproduct of what's happening in the world right now. And so while I appreciate the fact that, you know, we're always keeping an eye on this and we're doing what we can do to correct the behavior of our students, some of it is sort of outside of our control. And I just felt the need to say that.
Any other questions?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. All right, we're ready for item 12.01, overview of First Financial Rating System of Texas. Mr. Jones.
Good evening. Tonight we're going to go over our School First, which is the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. So the purpose of this is it holds districts accountable for the quality of financial management practices. It is behind. It uses audited data from 21-22 for this year's rating. So this is information that Dobie would have presented to you last November, and then information that the auditor would have presented to you last January as well. So it's based on 20 indicators. Indicators 1 through 5 are pass-fail. If you fail any of them, you automatically receive a substandard achievement. And then ceiling indicators were first introduced a couple of years ago. On these indicators, if you don't pass the indicator, you get a set maximum score. So basically, if you fell like number 6, the highest score you can get is an 89, which is the max rating of a B. So we'll start with indicator number 1. It's just a timely filing of your financial reports. So the filing deadline was January 28th. The report was brought to you on January 23rd and was filed with TEA on the 25th, so that one was met. Indicator number 2 is that your auditors give you an unmodified opinion. Basically means that they didn't have any findings in the audits, which the answer to that was yes. Indicator 3 is that you default on any of your bonds. Obviously, HEB-ISD has never defaulted on a bond payment. Indicator number 4 is just timely payments to all the different things that we have to do, especially through payroll, like our TRS system, Texas Workforce Commission, or the IRS. Just basically that you made sure you made all your payments on time. Indicator number 5 has not been scored in several years. I believe they're going to start hopefully doing it in the next year or two. Again, a lot of these were not scored due to COVID. They were things that were a little bit difficult for a lot of districts to hit. Okay, the remaining indicators have scores of 0 to 10 on them, and this is what determines what rating you get. So indicator number 6, was there a change in your fund balance? Or was your average fund balance over 3 years less than a 25% decline? HEB-ISD had a 97-day of assigned and unassigned fund balance, so this one was passed with full points. Indicator number 7, and this one's very important, that the number of days of cash on hand. This one comes up in a lot of the indicators. If you have plenty of cash, you pass all the indicators pretty much with flying colors on them. So you have to have greater than 90 days of fund balance or of cash on hand in order to get 10 points. HEB has 359 days of cash on hand. Current assets to current liabilities. This one, if you have a ratio of greater than 3, you get 10 points. We had 5.6477. Indicator number 9 is just your revenues exceed your expenditures, and it did by 15.9%. This one you also pass if you have enough fund balance in order to meet that. If your expenditures do exceed your revenues, so that's another place where the fund balance is very important to have. Indicator number 10 is one of the ones that was not scored in this year's rating. Indicator number 11 is your long-term liabilities to your total assets. You want to be under a 0.6. We were at 0.4387 on that one. Debt to property value ratio, just basically saying if you have enough money to make your future debt repayments, and you wanted to be under a 4 on this one, and we were at 1.9744, so well under that one. Administrative cost ratio, this is basically looking at your campus and at general administration costs compared to what you pay in your general education costs. You want that to be at 0.0855 or lower. We were at 0.0617 for the year. Indicator number 14 was not scored, and indicator number 15 was not scored. Number 16 is, does your PEIMS data, is it less than a 3% variance from your annual financial report? On our PEIMS data, they submit it by account, and they round on everything. So your rounding can throw you off just a little bit here. We were off by $236 on $185 million, so 0% variance on that. So we got the full points there. And then indicator number 7 is where your financial report's free of any instance of material weakness. We had no material weaknesses, so that was a pass. And this one is very similar to one of the critical indicators, except for this is looking at your federal grants and contracts and everything and making sure that your independent auditor did not find any problems there. They found no problems, so we got the 10 points there. Indicator 19 is just as everything being posted on the website as we're supposed to. The answer was yes there, so we got 5 points for that one. And the final indicator is, did we discuss the district's property values with you at least 120 days before, or within 120 days of whenever the district adopted its budget? And Dobie brought that to you, usually at the beginning of August, for the approval at the end of August. So this shows you the different scores that are out there. We got a full 100 points, so for the 22nd straight year, we got a superior rating again.
How come those others weren't rated?
They weren't rated. A lot of them were COVID-based. They were things that, ratios of student to teachers and things like that, that some of them got a little off due to the student losses and things.
They should lower the numbers then.
They should. But they gave basically everybody full credit for them is the way they scored them instead. Any other questions?
No, just that this is really good. I did look at several of the districts in our area, and not everybody did as well as we did, and so I'm just really pleased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because Mr. Jones and Mr. Williams make it look so easy.
Yeah, because when you look at the TEA report, it's listed by district number instead of alphabetical. Took me forever to get through it.
All right, so If there are no further questions, we do have to open up a public comments on the first report. So I declare this public meeting now open to hear comments concerning the report presented on the School First Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. Does anybody have anything they'd like to come to the microphone and say about this report? So if there is no discussion, I will now close this public meeting. All right, we're ready for action items. No consent items were removed, so item 13.02, consider approval of corrected minutes for September 25th, 2023.
I move that the board amend.
He's talking.
Oh,
about it.
sorry.
Well, I gave you, she'd already read the Friday updates. I gave you a very detailed explanation in the Friday update, but I just want to make sure you didn't have any questions. This is really just clean up because the minutes did not contain that specific language, and TEA is very adamant about down to the commas, dotted I's, and crossed T's. It's got to contain that language. So we're just added it in there because it was in the item that y'all approved. So.
Any questions? I'll accept a motion.
I move that the board amends item 9.08 of the September 25th, 2023 regular board meeting minutes to reflect the required TEA language.
Second?
I don't have that motion. I have a motion and a second that the board amends item 9.08 of the September 25th, 2023 regular board meeting minutes to reflect the required TEA language. Please vote.
Okay.
And that motion passes. Item 13.03, consider approval of budget amendments and board resolution authorizing increase in district contribution towards health insurance premiums for certain employees in compliance with the Affordable Care Act requirements. Ms. Tuttle?
All right, so we're bringing to you a resolution this evening at your request, and this resolution will authorize the district to contribute an additional $50 per month per employee who is currently making an annual salary of less than $50,000 and who are enrolled currently in insurance effective January the 1st, 2024. Are there any questions?
So just so I understand, so that, because I saw different numbers, the 25 and the 50 and the 75, and a dollar amount of a lot more than this, but I guess this came down to, is this $107,641? Is that the actual amount that it cost?
Yes, and I'm going to have Dobie speak to the budget amendment, but I just want to clarify that the other options that you saw in last week's presentation are some recommendations for 24-25.
Gotcha.
Tonight, we're taking care of what we need to ensure affordability for all employees. And I'm going to let Dobie explain a little bit about the discrepancy in the amounts you saw in the budget amendment.
Okay, of course, the number that when they brought it to y'all before and y'all looked at that, I believe their number was $115,000 and something for $50. And the reason this number is a little lower, we're just dealing with the general fund. And some people are paid 80% out of the general fund, 20% out of a federal fund. So that's why it's an odd, wonky number. And we did, we're just doing a budget amendment. It's a budget. It's not, it'll be this amount or less is what actually impacts the general fund budget. So does that make sense? Okay.
All right, any other questions? I'll accept a motion.
I move that the board approve the budget amendments and board resolution as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the budget amendments and the board resolution as presented. Please vote. And that motion passes. We're ready for open forum number 2. No cards. All right, on to other business. Item 15.01, opportunity for board members to request items be placed on future board agendas. Anybody have anything? All right, 15.02, consider approval of membership with North Central Texas Council of Governments. Any discussion? I'll accept the motion.
I move the board approve renewing the membership of the North Central Texas Council of Governments at a cost of $100 as budgeted in the board's budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve renewing the membership with the North Central Texas Council of Governments at a cost of $100 as budgeted in the board's budget. Please vote. That motion passes. We do not need a closed session, correct, Dr. Harrington? All right, then I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned.